Annabelle. I'm a primary school educator and right now I have a 2-year-old son.
Hi, I'm Jessica. I'm a mother of 2. My firstborn is coming to 4 years old and my second is 14 months old.
Hi, I'm Weaning. I'm 29 years old. I'm first-time mom and I have a 5.5 months old baby boy.
I started breastfeeding right when he was born. Yeah, and I'm still continuing breastfeeding right now, even though he's already 2 years old.
For my firstborn, my boy, I stopped breastfeeding him at 26 months. And for my girl, I'm still breastfeeding.
I do more of a baby-led weaning style. Yeah, so I'll just follow his lead instead of trying to wean him forcefully.
I do a mixture, so I don't really do fully because I can't stand the mess. But I believe in letting them explore the food texture, help learn to be more independent and try feeding themselves.
Actually, since my baby is just like 5.5 months, I actually just started. So the first thing I introduced to him is fruits like kiwi, apple, but it's only the juice. Yeah, I think fruits is more natural and it's like simple rather than using any other complicated food. So and it's the easier thing I can prepare for him.
I actually do not really restrict the kind of food that I wean them, but I try to give food that has a little bit more risk in causing allergies like eggs or seafood early part of the day instead of like dinner time, especially if it's the first time I let my baby try, so that in case of any allergy reaction, I have time to react and not like at night when they are sleeping and the clinics are closed.
Issues would be the older generation. They would think that infant powder would be more nutritious. So I would have to educate them that it's not this it's not this way. And because of the COVID situation right now, I hope to continue to breastfeed him as long as I can. Yeah, so to provide him the antibodies and the protection that I can offer him.
I'm quite lucky. Both my kids are quite foodie, so I don't really have issues. Perhaps sometimes when it's the first time you introduce them to a certain food, they might not accept it so readily. So I'll just try it maybe some weeks later, and sometimes they will just, their taste bud might change over time and they will accept it better.
Actually now, since I just started, I didn't really face much issue, but I know there will be a lot of problems coming up. I'm quite looking forward to it because I really want to see how my baby, looking at the food and then eat. But I also quite worried like how he mess up all the food, maybe on the floor or throw all the food to me on the ground. Yeah, that's something that I want to see and don't want to see.
I think the most important is mom's self-love, and whether you have the time and attention and a commitment. I understand some moms they are facing some problems, so it's okay, but don't blame yourself that you cannot provide the things that you want to do right from the start. So to me, right, as long as the mom is being well protected, the mom is able to take care of herself, that is the most important thing before she can move on to take care of her own child.
I think as a parent, you should not force your kid to eat, because I think kids, they accept food at a different stage. We should not force them to eat something that they do not like, because even though I shared earlier, both my kids, I'm quite lucky that they are foodie. They do not reject food very much. But there are also certain food that they will take a while to get used. I don't force them, and I see that slowly they will try to accept it over the next few tries. So I think if I force them, they might have a negative association, and they probably will not feel so comfortable eating it after that. Yeah.
I think the most important thing is the environment. It should be fun for the baby. Instead of like I ask him to finish everything I prepared for him, he should start to feel like he's enjoying the food or enjoying eating, so that I can introduce more food for him and from there he can have the eating habits. I agree. Even though my baby actually able to sleep through the night since like maybe 3rd month, but I find it's quite important for myself, like as a mom, so that I can also sleep through, because I am also working, right? Yeah.
Me and my hubby, we do not execute sleep training, okay, because we feel that there are a lot of reasons why we do not want to advocate sleep training. It's like the most important reason is we know that even we as adults, we do not sleep throughout the whole night. We have different stages in our life. So for the first stage of the baby, right, they have underdeveloped circadian rhythm. So we understand that they will tend to wake up after their sleep cycle is disconnected. So at that moment, right, because babies, they cannot vocalize what they want. They are not like adults where we are able to express how we feel. So when they are feeling unwell, or when they need our attention, or they are feeling afraid, they can only cry. Yeah, so even though some babies, they are naturally calm, they are quiet, but that doesn't mean that they are able to self-soothe. They can remain quiet, but they are still in a high level of anxiety, and they are still secreting more cortisols compared to their nurtured counterparts. So we don't want that to happen to our son. We tried to do sleep training, but we realized that you may succeed at the first part, but after that, when they go through like growth spurts or teething, or when they are having any discomforts, right, you won't know because they can only cry. Yeah, so at the end of the day, we find that not having this kind of expectations on us, it's more to our comfort level, I think.
I do not execute sleep training, but I try to follow sleep schedules. So like the wake time, the how many number of naps is appropriate for their age. I can't do sleep training because I cannot stand my child crying alone in the room without me, and I find that it is a bit stressful for me. So I rather be there to care for them. So I did not try sleep training even though I attempted. And also I've read about articles that for some kids, because they cry for a long period of time, they don't get a response from their parents, they might grow up to be a little bit insecure. I'm not sure how true this is, but I would not want to risk that. And so I gave up on sleep training for my first child, and I did not start for my second. Okay, so the main challenge is I am their sleep prop. So I think most kids, they will have a sleep prop. Some of them is probably a teddy bear, a pillow. But for my 2 kids, I am their sleep prop because I breastfeed them. Most of the time, they will fall asleep on my breast. And so they kind of associate me to sleeping. That's the challenge because, especially at night, they will look for me. And it is difficult to get someone else to replace me to put them to sleep. During the day, it's fine because we actually have like routines to sing them a song, to tell them stories, and then to make them sleep. But because nighttime, I guess the comfort level of breastfeeding and sleep is a bit stronger, the association is stronger. So that is my biggest challenge.
The most challenging part for me is, I think it's like when I put him into the baby cot, he will start play first, and then he will start making noise. Sometimes he cry, or sometimes he will ask me to carry him again. Or when the moment before he goes into a deep sleep, that's the part is more challenging for me. So I need to like pet him, I need to sing a song, I need to comfort him first.
When we put them to sleep, okay, somehow they know that we are putting them down, and it's like when they are in our hands, right, they are able to sleep very peacefully. But when we put them down, right, they will start crying.
I think yes, if your baby really cannot sleep through, or maybe wake up like every 2 hours, and if you are actually working mom or working parents, if it already affects your sleeping, I think it's good you have like sleep training for a baby. So I think it's mostly for the parents to be able to sleep through as well.
It depends on the environment that you are in. So if like back to the the part about breastfeeding and formula milk, most important is the mom gets enough rest and you have the whole village to support you. So if you don't have that kind of environment, maybe your child, it's okay with sleep training. You really have to follow your child's lead. Yeah, because I've heard of cases that some babies, right, they can do well with sleep training, but some they really can't. Yeah, but for me, right, I won't advocate on that.
I think every child is different, so I wouldn't say I would strongly recommend or don't recommend. I've heard stories about, what works well for some parents might not work well for the others. So I guess it's a try and error thing. For me, I tried. I think it doesn't work, so I rather be the one to put them to sleep. But I give them sleep schedule to make my life a bit easier. I know what time to put them to sleep, what time they're supposed to wake up, to plan my schedule. So yeah, I guess every child is different and it's up to the parents to try.